The 2000s were filled with excitement as technology companies raced to release bold new products. Some ideas promised to change the way we lived, worked, and connected with each other. Many of these inventions had futuristic designs and massive marketing campaigns behind their launches. But not every ambitious project turns into a lasting success that captures public imagination. In fact, the early 2000s gave us plenty of spectacular failures that vanished quickly from markets. Some failed because they were too expensive, while others were simply ahead of their time. A few were poorly designed, while some never solved any real problems for consumers. These failures remind us that innovation does not always guarantee success in the long run. Today we look back at 10 innovative products from the 2000s that failed miserably in history. Stay with us until the end, and do not forget to like and subscribe. 1. The Segway Personal Transporter. The Segway was introduced in 2001 as the future of personal transportation for city environments. It promised to revolutionize how people moved through streets with self-balancing technology. Despite heavy hype and huge media coverage, it never became a mainstream transportation choice. High prices and awkward design made it impractical for most people who preferred simpler options. Cities also lacked proper infrastructure to support its safe use on sidewalks or roadways. Instead of replacing cars or bikes, it became a novelty used mostly by tourists on tours. Although innovative, the Segway ended up as a symbol of overhyped technology from the 2000s. 2. Microsoft Zune. In 2006, Microsoft launched the Zune to compete directly with Apple's massively popular iPod. It featured music sharing, customizable backgrounds, and sleek design aimed at younger audiences. However, it entered a market already dominated by Apple with loyal iTunes users worldwide. The device lacked unique features that could convince people to switch from iPod ecosystems. Marketing campaigns failed to build excitement, and sales numbers quickly disappointed Microsoft leadership. By 2011, Zune was officially discontinued and became one of Microsoft's most famous hardware failures. 3. Google Glass. Launched in 2013 but developed during the late 2000s, Google Glass promised futuristic smart eyewear. The idea of wearing glasses that projected notifications and information sounded revolutionary worldwide. But privacy concerns and the high cost made it unpopular among everyday consumers very quickly. People disliked being recorded without consent, and the design made wearers look awkward publicly. Battery life was short, and features felt experimental rather than practical for daily usage. Google eventually shifted Glass into enterprise settings, but as a consumer product, it failed miserably. 4. HD DVD. In the mid-2000s, HD DVD was Toshiba's attempt to win the high-definition format war. It competed directly against Sony's Blu-ray, with both promising crystal-clear picture quality for movies. Initially, several studios supported HD DVD, giving it a strong chance to succeed worldwide. However, Blu-ray gained more backing from major movie distributors and gaming consoles like PlayStation 3. Once Warner Bros. Switched to Blu-ray, HD DVD's fate was sealed permanently in the marketplace. By 2008, Toshiba abandoned the format, leaving Blu-ray as the clear industry standard for years. 5. Motorola ROKR-E1. In 2005, Motorola partnered with Apple to release the ROKR-E1 music phone internationally. It was the first phone capable of supporting iTunes, creating major buzz in technology circles. Unfortunately, the phone was painfully slow, storing only about 100 songs at maximum capacity. Its design was clunky, and users were disappointed by its lack of innovation compared to iPods. Apple quickly realized the mistake and instead launched the iPhone 2 years later with huge success. The ROKR is now remembered as a failed experiment that led directly to the iPhone revolution. 6. Juicero. Although launched officially in 2013, Juicero's development started during the late 2000s innovation wave. It was a Wi-Fi connected juicer that used pre-packaged fruit and vegetable juice packs daily. The product was extremely expensive, costing hundreds of dollars for the machine and packets combined. Investigations revealed that juice packs could be squeezed by hand without the machine at all. This revelation destroyed trust, and customers mocked the idea of paying for unnecessary technology. Juicero quickly collapsed and became a legendary symbol of Silicon Valley's over-engineered product failures. 7. Palm Pre. Released in 2009, the Palm Pre smartphone was supposed to save Palm's declining market position. It introduced WebOS, a sleek operating system with multitasking and swipe-based navigation features. Critics praised the software, but hardware quality and marketing were not strong enough worldwide. Apple's iPhone and Android phones quickly overshadowed Palm Pre, leaving it unable to compete effectively. Limited app support also hurt its adoption compared to growing ecosystems offered by rivals. Within just a few years, Palm's phone business collapsed, making Pre another high-profile 2000s failure. 8. Sony Minidisc Player. Minidisc was introduced earlier, but in the 2000s Sony tried to push it harder into markets. It offered digital recording and high-quality sound at a time when CDs and MP3s were popular. Unfortunately, the rise of the iPod and cheap MP3 players made Minidisc irrelevant very quickly. The format was expensive, and consumers did not want another device just for music storage. Sony eventually discontinued the product, as demand dropped almost to zero in global markets. The Minidisc remains a forgotten chapter in Sony's long history of both successes and failures. 9. N-Gage by Nokia. In 2003, Nokia attempted to merge a handheld gaming console with a mobile phone worldwide. The result was the N-Gage, a unique but awkward-looking device that confused many consumers. It had some popular games, but design flaws like side-talking made it uncomfortable for calls. Cartridges were inconvenient, and graphics were weaker compared to Nintendo's Game Boy Advance. Despite Nokia's dominance in phones, N-Gage could not compete with dedicated gaming handhelds. By 2005, the device was discontinued, remembered as one of Nokia's boldest but worst experiments. 10. Apple Newton, revived hype. Though originally launched in the 1990s, Apple revived hype around Newton in the early 2000s. It was promoted as a futuristic personal digital assistant with handwriting recognition features. However, the technology was unreliable, and accuracy problems made it frustrating for many users. By the time smartphones gained popularity, the Newton seemed outdated and completely unnecessary. Apple eventually abandoned the line, focusing instead on creating the iPhone, which became legendary. The Newton is remembered today as an early glimpse of future tech that failed spectacularly. Outro. The 2000s were an exciting decade of bold experiments that often missed their mark completely. While many of these products failed, they taught valuable lessons for future innovation and design. Some were simply ahead of their time, while others tried solving problems that did not exist. Many became stepping stones toward greater successes like the iPhone or today's wearable technologies. Failures like Segway or Juicero show us that hype alone cannot carry a product to success. At the same time, they remind innovators that risks are part of pushing technology forward globally. These stories prove that even major companies can release products that flop despite big budgets. But without failure, there can be no true progress or breakthroughs in any industry worldwide. So which of these failed products do you remember from the 2000s, and did you ever try them? Let us know in the comments, and do not forget to like and subscribe for more.